Hello guys, welcome to the Trading Parrot. I'm gonna do a very quick update on Altcoins market, specifically on Bitcoin dominance, USDT dominance, total free, and all of those are currently at the edge of a cliff, a make or break situation that I wanna cover with you. Guys, if you wanna trade altcoins, Bitcoin, or whichever coin you want, Tubit is offering a great experience of an exchange. It was built by the same people from Bybit. It takes just 2 minutes to sign up, deposit, and start trading with or without leverage. KYC is not required. And if you use the link in the description, they're currently offering 100,000 USDT to flip your losses into wins. As soon as you sign up, they give you $50 for free to trade. Take advantage of all of that by using the link in the description. This is how it's looking. The market today obviously is benefiting from the upside that we are currently seeing on Bitcoin. It could be a dead cat bounce. We still don't know. I am treating it according to the risk it represents. And if it's risky for Bitcoin, you can probably bet that the risk for the altcoins in here is also very high. Today we're gonna look into some interesting charts as well, including the funding rate and the beta that are gonna help us to understand where are we standing at the moment when it comes to altcoins. We are in altcoin season index at 41, which means that Bitcoin is outperforming most of the altcoins in the top market cap in the past 90 days. You can see Bitcoin located roughly around here, just above Bitcoin Cash, GT, Hype, and Avalanche. And outperforming Bitcoin at the moment in the past 90 days, we got ENA, Sol, Link, and Tau. All of them still in the negative. Remember that we are 6.4% down on Bitcoin in the past 90 days. But in the positive, we have here just some rare winners that are still standing there, either slightly in the green or big in profits like ZEC and M. BNB at 45% up. Interest in altcoins is very low. In the Bitcoin video, I show you that we were very low as well, but here we are lower than anywhere apart from September 2024. And we are starting to see as well some big accumulations, and I'm paying attention to the ones that they are doing on the coins that I'm still holding. For example, Chainlink. We have 30 wallets that have withdrawn 6 million Link, $116 million from Binance right after the crash. And Merlin, the trader, is saying that altcoins are flashing a cycle level bottom. It's very confusing, I have to say, because reaching these sort of levels in the middle of the bull market is something new for the altcoins. Usually we were waiting for a bear market to achieve these levels. Instead of that, you're not wrong in thinking that since 2021, altcoins versus Bitcoin is been only down. Down how low? Pretty much at the levels where we were in the bear market prior to 2021, which is really crazy. But now that we are seeing the potential for a monthly bullish cross, Merlin is anticipating some upside. If we were not in the topping year, I will be more excited than a dog with two tails. But given that we are getting this signal in here this late, the only way that this can play out is if we force Bitcoin to remain bullish in 2026. And so far, we don't have yet that confirmation. So you have to take a similar stance if you want to be part of this. If it plays out, being early. If you are late to this, you could be entering at the peak of a dead cat bounce. So where were those juicy entries? Well, months ago, I was talking about accumulate Ethereum at 3.5k. We went into 3.4k. When Ethereum was trading there, you get the green flag to buy any other crap at discounted prices. There were corrections of 99%. If you managed to enter at those prices, you should be proud about yourself, because pretty much no one was entering at those prices. Not even me. I was in the hospital that day and I couldn't take advantage of the price I wanted to enter because I'm very disciplined and I didn't want to leave a limit order in the exchange. FI. Ethereum recorded the largest stablecoin supply, so Ethereum is currently attracting a lot. I'm not saying necessarily that Ethereum is the only one you need to be looking into, or BNB, but there's always a rotation from large cap into other altcoins. Ethereum still hasn't done that big move, but once it does that big move, there's gonna be a spillover of that cash into other layer ones and other altcoins, assuming that Bitcoin holds for a little bit longer. Please, Bitcoin, make an all-time high in November, remain around there, do not just blow off and crash massively. Allow the altcoins to have their moment of glory, at least for once this cycle. The Bitcoin dominance rejection was very impressive last week. We'll cover that when we get into the charts. The breakout of others against Bitcoin is still decent. It's not a disaster. We got 2 weeks now of correction, what we could call a retest against resistance. dominance, we pierce the bottom of the global support, which is something reserved for the bear market, but that's what we did with that liquidation. Others broke down and now they are pending in here below support, and this is the chart that I want you to focus on. Look at this channel. This is alts against USDT, USDC dominance, specifically total free dominance, and you can see that we are at the top of the channel. Being at the top of the channel is what I meant in the beginning of the video by being on the edge of a cliff. Exit that level, put a weekly close there, and we get as strong signal as we got around May in 2022, where we say, okay, fine, fair enough, this is bear market. We kissed 48k on Bitcoin, and altcoins puke, the biggest puke ever in the whole cycle, and we went from 21% to 41% in a single move. So I have these two bubbles in here. This is bear market, guys. We are anywhere inside this thing, and we got a huge conviction or confidence that we are entering bear market. Very difficult that we can get back from there inside the channel then later in 2026. That is too big of a puke. If we cross this neckline, 21%, if we see a rejection from 27 back to this neckline, and we enter in the second bubble in here, this is altcoin season strong territory. Anywhere in here is just gray area. Whatever crappy altcoin season you have had so far lives around this area. The one that you've been dreaming of when you hang tight to your pillow, sweating like a pig, that is on the lower end. So yeah, guys, we are within that squeeze, and we need to exit from one end and see how it goes. I used to track this just with USDT dominance. This is my old chart, previous cycle, current cycle, and we are right there again, ready for the picture, bear market or more seasons of alts to the downside. You tell me in the comments, where are we? Dominance. Let's go to the boss of the altcoins. This is the big pierce into the neckline, big rejection, big wick to the upside. It seems like now we are due after that rejection to come into the altcoin season, but hold on the horses. You can see in here that we got 2 weeks, including the intracandle few hours that we are doing now on Monday of upside again. Against what? Against the 48 that now we need to move into, still more or less 49. That is the ideal resistance that we want to respect if we want altcoin season. Again, that's another sign that we are in the edge of a cliff, because this ascending wedge remains promising some altcoin season as long as we don't re-enter the ascending wedge in here. If we ascend it, then we could have a higher high in Bitcoin dominance, which could bring some performance for altcoins, but I fear that we could do that at the cost as well of Bitcoin crashing. Remember that Bitcoin dominance can increase not just when Bitcoin goes up, but with Bitcoin coming down aggressively too, and that is not what altcoins want to see. Anyways, 49, line in the sand. Hopefully this week, that's it. We get a rejection there, and we start building momentum to the downside to take the lows of 33 back into 20s. 25 will be fantastic for altcoin season on the RSI. The dominance percentage itself ideally not crossing 60, but yeah, USDT dominance has pushed here and put a breakout, reclaiming this area. And look at the stupid fractal that I've been tracking since August in 2024. We are still following this thing, not perfectly, but you can see that we are now back again going up. This is bear market, guys. This is bear market, and we've been tracking this up and down relative to what we did in 2021 in the USDT dominance. So if we continue with this letter by letter, with now a breakout in here, how can I not tell you that there is high risk? There is high risk, and if you understand what it means, risk, it also always has a counterpart that is called big reward. Because if within a window of high risk you enter in a trade on a long and you were right, you're gonna be almost the only one stupid dude holding an amazing long with big reward than everybody else is gonna chase. So what is that opportunity? What is that big reward that's on the table at the moment? Well, it could be that Bitcoin continues into 2026. It goes against all the odds. It rallies, and it allows even the altcoins to do a lot more. If you can count on that and you can manage that risk somehow without, losing 6 or 7 figures, then total free is still at support. This is a breakout that started in April. We are against this resistance 66 that we acknowledge, and it rejects us back into weekly support. From this support, do you have upside? Potentially, that could be a dead cat bounce that later breaks down, but entering from closer, as close as you can from support, you have some risk to reward better than the rest compared to if you start chasing. That could come back into 70 or break out and go into 90. That is the big reward that we need to acknowledge. Ethereum is contributing to that story in a way because it's holding the breakout area in here. Not just 1 week, but now could be the second week. If this week we hold around the 4,000, then we are building a big narrative for this to continue with the multi-year breakout on the weekly of Ethereum. Ethereum dominance already hit the 12% that we were calling out. I wasted all my time. I called all of this and I didn't buy the stupid Ethereum. Anyways, that is just part of being a trader. You know, all that discipline, sometimes it plays against you and sometimes it saves my neck. So I really cannot say I did the wrong thing, because one day I'm gonna leave a big limit order in the exchange and it gets filled and it happens to be a market crash. And then I'm gonna tell myself why I didn't follow my own rules. Total 2 and Total 3 are in the area of the edge of a cliff as well, because this should have broken out. It already did a very mild breakout and it got rejected. So this is calling for a rally back down into 50. That is a lot of pain. That is coming back into 109 trillion instead of breaking out and going into 4 trillion. So Total 3 is in an area of a bit of danger. Total 2 has Ethereum and Ethereum has rally. It's at 4,000. That's why we are here. Whereas with others, we are at support. Others have been completely decimated and are waiting at the last line of support right there after weakening into the depths of the bear market. Total 3, yeah, very punished there, far from the resistance and from breaking out so far. All right, let's look into this data before the video is too long. And if we focus on all of this, this is the beta of BTC against all pairs, okay? And we got some areas where there is massive correlation in here. These areas in red are calling for tops. We're looking at everything from 2023 into 2025. This is massive alpha, guys. If you haven't hit that like and written a comment down below, I'm gonna slap you. Look at this correlation in here. That is an area where you need to basically break the glass, grab the fire extinguisher and point it at all your long positions that are running hot. Stop them, exit alts. But where are we right now? If I zoom in here, you can see we are in a mixed area. Most of this is blue. There is some red, just a few exceptions, but most of it is blue. It's as blue as other areas before, maybe a little bit more. And what's going on in the overall 14-day rolling beta, where we are very spread away, the high beta versus the low beta. When that is happening, we're looking at areas that are very dark in the chart, which are typically areas that are better or preferably better for adding into altcoins, at least in the bull market. Okay, if we enter into a bear market, even a blue can dump lower and it can get decimated. That's why high risk, I repeat, as I did in the beginning of the video. So this area is in purple, dark blue, similar to other areas there, so not calling necessarily to close positions. So if we get another rally and we get into the red or closer to the red, that is a big signal to exit. And when it comes to funding rate, we are also at very low levels. These areas in red are areas where you need to break the glass and exit your longs. Too much funding rate across the board for all the altcoins at once. Guess what? You're in a trap. Exit. Exit like a pro. Exit at the best timing. Exit when the funding rate affects all the coins at the same time. And you can also see in here the quantiles, and when this is very deep in the blue in here, it's also calling for areas where you can enter on altcoins. Very recently now we have this crash that decimated all the altcoins. Well, guess what? That was an opportunity to enter, of course, but are we in an area where you need to really sell? Well, the answer depends. If we get another rally and we get into the red, that's your area of high conviction to start taking profits from your alts, because you can see that it doesn't live that long. It doesn't give you that much opportunity to exit. The question is, are we gonna get that? Well, for that we need Bitcoin to take the lead, Ethereum to follow, go into 5K, then everything flows into altcoins, and again you get another red. Do we know that's gonna happen? No. So you need to find an entry at areas like during that crash, and if you're already allocated, or if you're holding coins like me, like my Chainlink and my ADA and the other small positions, you can decide whether to trail it. Well, I have already my Chainlink in the exchange waiting in case we get an area like this. Since I enter in the bear market, if I don't find my shiny exit, I'm gonna hold it for the next bull cycle anyways. It's not a swing trade anyways. Let me know in the comments what's going on with your altcoins in general, and leave me your questions and I'll see if I can answer in another video similar to this one about altcoins, Bitcoin dominance and all of that. See you on the next one. Bye bye.